We're going to have a chat with the founder of our sponsors, the Brighton Beer Company, Lloyd, last name exclusively not known. It's not actually out there, so we won't mention it. But yeah, Lloyd, the founder of the Brighton, or co-founder, as we will find out, of the Brighton Beer Company, our sponsors. It's going to be, I'm not going to lie, if you haven't got a beard and you don't want a beard, then just switch off now. Unless you're the critical type who likes to know why people, why guys want to buy beards, buy stuff for beards. Maybe it'll be appealing to partners who don't understand their men and don't understand why they've got that facial hair, even though they don't like facial hair. Why do they keep it? Why doesn't he listen to me? Doesn't he not love me anymore? It might be information there for you, which will help. I don't know. But yeah, so if you're a dedicated runner and expected to hear about running injury performance, it's not going to be. This isn't your show today. Tune in this Sunday instead, where we're talking to Jeff Gaudette. So Brighton Beer Company, let's give you a little flash of the website. Let's bring that up. There we go. If you're from Brighton, you've got a beard, you will know these people. There's no one else really compares them, to tell you the truth, although I'm obviously biased. They produce some fantastic scents. They've got balms, oils, brushes, gift sets, everything you need. It's a wonderful website. It's also got a really good blog, which I encourage you, if you haven't looked at already, to have a look at. It's got some great advice for people looking to start growing beards, what to do when you've got your 3-month or your year D, some great tips and advice. And it's all kind of like natural, well-produced products, which you haven't got to worry about where it came from or how it was made. Or so yeah, I encourage you to go and have a look. They are the sponsors of our running conference this October the 30th and 31st in Brighton, which is fantastic because it's all about helping not just runners in Brighton, but education in Brighton. It's at City College where I work as well. So tickets are still available for that, October the 30th and 31st, which is Halloween. Costumes are optional. If you really want to do that, then come along. It's fine. We won't judge you. So yeah, hopefully see some of you here. But for now, we will get rid of that. And I proudly will bring up the co-founder of the Brighton Beer Company, Lloyd. There we go.
Hello, Matt.
Was that a fair introduction?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. I still haven't given away your last name. So
no, yeah.
Still stayed, a bit like the Stig on Top Gear, aren't you? It's like no one actually knows your last name.
Yeah,
how you doing?
How it should be. Yeah, doing very well, thank you. Doing very well.
Fantastic. Thanks for giving up your time today. I do appreciate it. I know you're a very, very busy man, being an entrepreneur and all that.
Yeah, so they say.
This episode is I made sure I introduced it, because what we're going to talk about today is not going to appeal to anyone without a beard, because let's face it, the non-hirsute just don't understand it, do they? They haven't got a clue. No. If anything, they're probably anti it. It's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? You're either into it or you just don't like it at all. But today is all about people who have got a beard or are thinking about having a beard, and they understand what's going on. You've obviously got a beard. I think I've seen photos of it a bit larger than that, have I not?
Yeah, I've gone through different stages. My other half, she prefers it when it's slightly shorter.
Don't they all?
Probably
it's weird,
slightly shorter than this.
Yeah, the irony of it. I don't understand that. It's fairly ironical that they want that shorter. But anyway, yeah. Where have you had it to then? More or less with the line. Not that size is important, but what we're talking about.
Down to about there.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, probably near on a year, something like that.
Was this something that sparked the start of the company?
Yeah. I've gone through a lot of different jobs before we started this 6 years ago. So when we started the business, I was an estate agent. So
people like yes.
Yeah.
I like the sound effects later on.
Yeah. But I had a big beard when I was doing that, and my boss used to just taunt me with like shave it comments all the time. I kind of had to figure out a way of keeping it nice. This was before beards were really trendy, and there wasn't many products out there. So I tried a few, but they didn't really cut it. So we went to work trying to figure out what we could do. And it took a little while to get it right, but we launched maybe a couple years after making the initial recipes in 2013. So luckily for us, that was when beards got really trendy.
yeah, that was good timing.
So we caught the wave at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it's 2013 definitely was the time it all started. I think it was attributed to George Clooney. I think he kind of gets the
It wouldn't
box
surprise
pick.
me.
He turned up at the Oscars. He was the classic kind of clean shaven guy, and then suddenly at the BAFTAs or something that year, he turned up, and a few others did, with this kind of like facial hair.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. You need someone that handsome to come along with a beard to make it acceptable.
Exactly, so that us guys can then step in later on
Yeah.
and wipe on their shoulders. Exactly. So at the time, I mean, do you remember? Because not everyone has beards, obviously, bothers using products. Some people just don't put anything in. But were you looking for something at the time?
I was, yeah. I think it depends on what kind of person you are. I'm not massive on like skincare products or anything like that. Although I like to take care of myself, so it kind of made sense for me with a really curly beard to try and put something in it to tame it a little bit.
Right.
So that's the main reason, really.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that people don't have to use beard products. It's just like you don't have to go down the pub and have a pint, but it's just quite nice. Makes your day a little bit better if you do. So yeah.
I think so. I think anyone with a beard will understand that. Or, I mean, I actually tell you the truth. Yeah, there's guys who don't put anything in their hair ever, and they just go to the barber, spend £3 and just have a kind of a buzz cut or something. But most of us, especially maybe as a sign of the times, you get up in the morning and you're trying to find a reason to go on and continue, especially when you've got young kids. And sometimes it's the same as cologne or something, isn't it? Aftershave, just that something to make you kind of think, okay, yeah, right, that smells good. I feel okay again. I've had a shower, put in some balm.
I think people really don't take too much notice of their appearance and how they feel. But actually, if you spend some time, make yourself look good, spend 10 minutes in the morning, sort your beard out, the rest of the day is a lot better than what it would have been.
I think it's a fair comment. Yeah, I think so. I mean, people look at, again, not everyone looks at what they put on, but most people think about, should I wear that t-shirt or that shirt? Should I put on these jeans or that? So it's only a kind of an extension to that. So yeah, so you started 2003. No, what time was it? 2013. And how do you start something like that? Did you have to start from scratch? You had no kind of like did you have any kind of idea of ingredients or?
We had a rough idea of ingredients. We've done an awful lot of research. Like I say, it took a couple of years to get the products to where they needed to be to actually sell them. And then you start doing these things and you realize that actually you can't just make cosmetic products and start selling to people. You kind of have to have everything certified and go through all the processes of that. So there was a lot of learning involved doing that side of things.
Yeah.
Well worth it though.
I'm imagining something like The Apprentice. That's the only image I've got in my head, where they're giving like Lord Sugars a challenge to come up with they haven't done beard sense yet, but I'm imagining something like that where you just that's quite a good idea actually.
It's kind of like that. It was like when we first started, we were both living at my partner's parents' house, so there wasn't a lot of room there. We were trying to start a business, so we were working out of the spare room and just cooking stuff up in the kitchen.
Makes a change in Brighton to have that sort of cooking going on in kitchens.
Similar stuff. So yeah, it was really weird starting off from that sort of small little hub, and then the changes that have come since then and where we are now. So that's it's crazy.
So now you've got a slightly bigger operation. You're located in Seaford, is it?
Yeah, we're Seaford now. Just anywhere in Brighton's too expensive to have the space that we need. So we're about 3,000 square foot now, offices upstairs and then manufacturing downstairs.
So you've come a long way. That's great. Yeah. Has there been any just like kind of entrepreneur awards or stuff? Have you kind of been involved in any of that? Because you've done, it's a pretty big Brighton company, isn't it? Have you put yourself forward for anything like that? Or you just kind of...
No, we put a few of our products into the beauty awards. I can't remember what the beauty awards are called now, but a few months ago, so we got shortlisted for 3 awards. We didn't end up winning anything. There were some really good products in our category. But just to be shortlisted was a really
it's
great,
a start, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially in that world. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so and so today now some products. I saw recently you kind of rebranded a little bit, didn't you? Because I've used you quite a few years. Well, since I've had this about 4 years now, so for 4 years, and it all changed in January, didn't it? You had like a new design. Where did that come from?
So we wanted to freshen up the whole brand, really. We wanted to change our tins, have something a bit more bespoke. So we worked through the whole lot. It's one of those things where the company's been going for 6 years and nothing had changed.
Right.
We'd introduced new scents and stuff like that, but the actual visuals of the product looked the same. And we wanted to create something that was just cleaner. So Jess, using her sort of design background, got to work on redesigning the entire range. So yeah, she's done. I'll show you quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know if you've seen all of these, because you like the Mandarin one. So there's a different design on each tin.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where's the camera? So that's got
see.
a little octopus design on there. That's all printed and embossed in the tin. So
very nice.
Got away from stickers. It's also part of the eco thing as well. So now we don't have all the rubbish that comes with rolls of stickers. The tins are recyclable, so it's all better for the environment as well.
I figured that as well, because you can see from your website you're very much into that, aren't you? And being from Brighton, you haven't got much choice. But that's but that's one of the big things about buying beer company, is it? In terms of
we try and keep it all as eco as we can. There's certain things you can't avoid just because of the scale of stuff at the moment, but we're always working towards that end goal of it being as sustainable as possible.
Okay. Great. So I'm hoping that a few people who watch this, let's start from somebody who's thinking of growing a beard, or maybe try growing a beard and they shaved it off because it was too itchy or something, or it just didn't seem to grow. You've got some great blogs online which people can have a look at, brightonbeardcompany.co.uk. But I mean, have you got like top tips as the founder of the company and for the guy who's starting to try and grow a beard and struggling?
My top tips. Number one is just don't shave.
It sounds obvious, doesn't it?
It's really simple, but you're not going to get anywhere if you start shaving. So you really want to leave at least 4 weeks before a razor or scissors touch your face at all. Depending on how fast your beard grows, everyone's different, but at least 4 weeks. At that point, you probably want to start using some beard oil, because it's going to be a shorter, stubbly beard at that point. So it can get itchy around your neckline and stuff like that if you leave the ends of the hair sharp. So yeah, definitely use some beard oil then. And yeah, be patient, because if you're thinking about growing a beard and you give it time, you give it 4 weeks, and then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, this looks rubbish, and you cut it off, you haven't given yourself enough time. You really need to give yourself like 48 hours. If you decide to cut it off, well, wait 48 hours and still see if you feel the same way then. If you do, then go for it. But if you don't,
yeah, I think we've all been there. No one who's managed to get a beard, and I used to have. I mean, I nearly uploaded them today. I might intersplice them on the final edit of this, but I've had like yeardies and stuff, and I wouldn't go back there because it kind of looked cool if you Instagram it in black and white and put a shadow in, but in real life I just look like a rabbi, but which wasn't the look I was really going for. But yeah, I mean, we've all been there trying to grow it, and then suddenly wake up and think I hate it, and if you shave it off, or that's it, it's gone. I think the best advice I ever got was go to a barber's. Just go to a barber as a professional and say, look, I'm having a bit of a beard crisis. And they might trim it or change it or just do something to help you through the wilderness until you wake up.
It's good to try and get recommendations from someone on that front, because not all barbers are capable of cutting a beard the same as others. So
controversial, interesting statement. Yeah. We can't name any names, obviously.
No, but I've had a few suspect trims in my time. And there's nothing worse than spending 5 months growing a beard and then someone coming along and just starting in the middle and shaving a big old.
It's true, isn't it? It is true. And we'll just have to let people kind of discover themselves. But I mean, that's an interesting point. How do you, I mean, you could just ask and get advice from someone else, but what are some telltale signs if you go into a barber's that they are going to give you a good beard? Or is it just going on recommendations?
Yeah, go on recommendations. Obviously, sometimes you're going to have to just try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got to be good at asking for what you want, I think. That's the main thing. We've actually got a blog post on that as well. So
oh, good.
There's a few rules there for asking your barber to cut the sort of the beard style that you want.
I think sometimes making sure that you go get your beard trimmed by someone who's got a beard might help, because they kind of understand a little bit about it. So that helps. I remember I went to, I'll mention them because I'm not going to slag them off at all, but you know that little cutter and grinder, is it called? You know, I think that was the first place I went to, and it wasn't very long. I think it was about a month or two, and literally kind of looked at me and said, I'm not going to touch it. Don't touch it. Just I'll trim your hair, but my best advice for you, based on what you said, is don't let anybody touch it for at least another month, then come back. And that's probably the best advice. You know, because you go somewhere and they start trimming and changing it, you're never going to get anywhere. So thank you. A shout out to cutter and grinders for being honest. And that guy there, I don't think he works there anymore, but he was some Polish guy who kind of worked 70 hours a week and had another job and a massive beard. And it was really
So
good.
in reality, you just couldn't be bothered to cut your beard.
I think that was, he was just tired. He started talking to me about his plantar fasciitis, and because he was trying to run, but he couldn't do it. So we had a chat about that. But anyway, yeah, it's true. You've got to be careful about which barber you go to. And if you find one, then yeah, stick with them.
Yeah, there's plenty of good barbers around Brighton as well, so you can't go.
Oh, you got so much choice. I mean, I work in City College where I work. I work with the hair and beauty department, and the barbering is done up there. So it's still quite a trendy thing, isn't it? The whole beard life and barber life, and it's still there. So some of the kids are really dedicated to it, and now and again, definitely. I let them. Yeah, actually,
the barbering thing has had a real resurgence recently. If you look at the amount of barbers that are opening up around the country, it's an interesting one. It's kind of cool. I think some discover the hard way that you can't just open up a business, open up a barbershop and think it's going to take off. You got to still, well, as you know, it says on the blog that you're quite into looking at businesses and successful businesses. And what was that in regards to? I don't know. I think I've always had a bit of like an entrepreneurial spirit in me. My parents, when I was growing up, they both owned their own businesses. So it was really odd for me to, when I was speaking to my friends and like my girlfriend and stuff, to realize that their families all had like normal jobs. They just went to work. So it's sort of been in me from a young age that you just go and do your own thing, make your own money. So I like to look at the ins and outs of businesses, see how they run and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you've definitely got to have that kind of Alan Sugar thing inside you, I think, to start a successful business, especially if it's going to get as big as kind of Brighton Beer Company and that. So you mentioned oils. So one of the big questions, which I'm still not 100% clear on, but oils versus balms, is it a personal thing or they're kind of different?
It's a bit of a personal thing. So they're both great for conditioning your beard. That's really what you'd want to use them for. The balm is going to have additional hold to it. So for someone like a beard, with a beard like yours, that sort of length, I'd say go for a balm. It's going to give you a little bit more structure to it and hold it in place, but also get the effects of the conditioning. So we do have people that use both of them together. So it is a bit of a personal preference as well.
Yeah. I suppose it's all very individual. The only thing I noticed back in the early days was like the oil, especially if used too much, can give you kind of a bit of a soul glow, Eddie Murphy moment. You do get that kind of shine, don't you? Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through. Just let your
soul, baby, feeling oh so simple. Yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful because you only need a few drops. You don't need to go too mad, and you've got to really work it through to the skin. The ingredients in there are they're chosen to be as beneficial for the skin as they are for the hair. So really rubbing it into the skin through your beard is just as important as rubbing it through the beard. You don't want to just end up with a big shiny oily beard. That's not the point. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul glow.
Some people do. I see some people out there who must like that kind of gling. Yeah. It's kind of weird. It scares them.
I mean, it will absorb eventually, but you only have to, you'd be using your phone and then you'd end up with all oil over it. So got to be a bit careful.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, oils and balms. And then, I mean, I discovered as well, just through reading the blogs, the brush, the type of brush you use, because that's another thing. Like some people will try using an old metal comb or something, and that's kind of important as well as when you're trying to grow your beard, isn't it? Because you can easily end up ripping bits out.
Yeah, it causes a lot of friction when you use the wrong materials in your beard. So we only recently have introduced like an acetate comb. Before that, we would only use oxhorn. It was sort of sourced from what did they call it? It's like a sustainable source, but it was only taken from cows that had died of natural causes, or from ox that had died from natural causes. Vegans and vegetarians still didn't like that. Which I can understand because it's not ideal, but the material of the oxhorn is exactly the same material as your hair and nails. So when you brush your beard with that, you don't get any friction. So it doesn't cause any damage to the hair. So it's a really good product. It lasts. If you buy one, it's going to last you for years and years, like 30 years. It should be absolutely fine. Yeah. There's like
and the brush product. That's is it boar bristle or what was it?
Yeah, it's a boar bristle. So people have been using boar bristles in brushes for hundreds of years. It's really good for taming and like training your beard to go in certain directions. and stimulating your skin underneath as well, bringing blood flow to the surface, stuff like that. But they're fantastic products. If you use them, it really changes the beard game completely.
Yeah, and you do notice it, I think. So these are all great tips for people who kind of, I mean, some people like an unruly beard. It is a fashion in itself, isn't it? That kind of like walking the streets of Brighton, shaking paper bags at buses. They like that look. But other people are kind of like, oh, this isn't quite right, especially if the other half's having a go at you and going, oh, you look like a tramp kind of thing. So this is where the answers are. Yeah, the balms, the oils, the brushes. Fine. And then scent-wise, I mean, how many scents have you got out there now? Did you introduce some new ones recently, or?
Yeah, we've got 6 scents in the original range. So when we had a changeover of the packaging in January, we introduced the scents across every product. So you can now buy the 6 scents in a balm, oil, wax. So it's sort of got some continuity there. If you want to use a moustache wax and do a big handlebar moustache, you can also use a balm and it smells the same, which is actually really important. We should have introduced that a lot sooner. We also introduced a higher end range called Alfriston, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's bergamot and rose geranium. Smells fantastic. We'll have to send you some over. You'll really like it. It's got so one of the special ingredients in it is broccoli seed oil.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of broccoli.
You would not smell it,
okay,
but it's fantastic for you. The feeling of the balm is just beautiful. So. Yeah, I'll send you one over. You have a go.
That'd be amazing. Well, I'm hoping. I mean, yeah, I'd love to try some stuff out, and then I'll let people know. It's a funny combination, the older beard and the running thing. But then again, I know a lot of runners who have got beards. It's still. We'll talk about a little later on why guys have beards, but there's still an awful lot of. I think probably that film. What was it, 300 or something? That kind of like just reinitiated the whole,
Yeah.
Beard
if
thing.
you grow a beard, you just get a body like that as well. That's
exactly. And we don't listen to the haters. So wonderful. Right. So we talked about starting a beard, the products you need. And then that's fine. Any other products you ever mentioned that are worth talking about?
One of the important ones I think that we didn't mention is the beard shampoo.
Oh yeah, of course. So, my favorite, yes.
Yeah, it took us a long time to come up with the recipe for that, just to get it perfect. It takes maybe a week for your beard and skin to get used to the change of product. A lot of people have been used to using harsh chemicals on their face. So when you use something completely natural with no parabens or sulfates in it, it does take a little while to appreciate the change. But once you do, it's fantastic for your skin. It's much better than using just your generic Head and Shoulders. So.
No, definitely. I can vouch for that. And I know it might vary from person to person, but I remember, I was just thinking, especially with the kids, you're thinking, oh, just use your normal shampoo. Why spend this money? You got to cut back. But you notice the difference very quickly. Even some people start commenting, looking a bit straggly. And it's kind of like, I think even growing as well, everything slows down. It's just less healthy. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Miller's Bar. It's definitely, and it smells great as well.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite products. It's actually, I think it's probably our best seller nowadays.
Oh yeah. No, so it should be. Yeah, definitely. Wicked. So that's great. I thought we'd have a little stroll through the history of beards, because let's face it, some of the people who are watching this are going to be interested in. For example, did you know that where the word beard comes from?
I don't know.
It translates as. Obviously, I looked this up, but
just common knowledge.
The beard it comes from a German language. And it means kind of like to oppose or to challenge.
Okay.
And so it's always, because it's been that symbol, the idea of if you're going to challenge or combat somebody, you face them. So you're face to face, you would face their beard. So straight away, just looking at the word beard, you've got wonderful images of challenging and non-conformity and kind of confirming your masculinity. So, I mean, that's quite a nice way to start. But it's always kind of been there from early days, hasn't it, the beard? How far back can you go, do you think, where you think the nations and civilizations using beards, and why did they have them?
How far do you want to go back? Prehistoric times?
Oh, caveman had beards, it's true. I mean, there are theories on that. There's not a lot of
almost 100% of cavemen had beards.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
I made that up.
The statistics.
Yeah.
I don't think, I don't think in fact, I know that the razors didn't come around, I don't think, until about 1700 and something or something like that, surgical razors. But yeah, I think I've read that beards were actually probably used as they are by animals as a sign of authority and menacing and infighting. There is something about that facial hair which shows you're virile. It is, you know, and you only got to look at lions and
trying to make yourself look bigger, that sort of thing.
This is true. Yes, this is true. The the hair on end phenomenon. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, beards have always been there as a sign. And let's face it, we can't really. I mean, like I think we said off air, there's no other way apart from pulling your trousers down to show that you're that much of a bloke. And some of us shouldn't even really do that. But a beard straight away shows, I'm a man. I've got extra levels of testosterone and I can grow a beard. So it's always kind of been there.
Distance as well. So.
Yeah. But it does come and go in history, and it was an interesting thing I looked up online. The fads of beards coming and going it kind of seems to be like a curve of, as soon as fashions kind of make men a little bit not very masculine in the traditional sense. If you look back in history and you see eras where men started wearing wigs and powdered faces and lipstick and makeup and all that, not long after that, suddenly the beard came in, like whoa, we've got to kind of knock this on the head and get back to what it is being a man again. Yeah. I think that's happened throughout history. But also,
a pattern that will repeat itself.
It's an interesting one. But then there's always been haters in history. There's always been people who have kind of like decided, no, the beard doesn't work. And I mean, the military is a famous one, I think.
Well, I think that started from Alexander the Great decided that soldiers shouldn't have beards because it's in battle their enemies would be able to grab them. It'd be a disadvantage. So he made all soldiers shave their beards.
Oh, seriously? Oh, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it makes perfect sense because it is, although it could look intimidating, it is probably a disadvantage if someone just.
Yeah, you grab hold of the beard and then you've got, that's fantastic, which is why the Greeks probably did so well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and the Vikings aren't.
Yeah, and the Vikings are, but they're not worried about people grabbing their beards, are they?
No, if anything, they would tease them and then be ready here with two. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting looking through the cultures. I mean, I had a little look back, and I was quite surprised to see when it comes to grooming products how long back there's kind of like evidence of ancient kind of like straightening tongs and curling tongs, even going back to pharaohs and stuff. And then I kind of remembered amongst those, the kind of like Mesopotamia and that, you do kind of see these images and paintings of beards with kind of like ridges in them and kind of like almost what's the word? Crimped, is it? Yeah, crimped.
So they were obviously using tongs and stuff to
it's crazy
manipulate how they looked. Yeah. It's quite interesting stuff when you start looking back into it.
It is. The history of it is wonderful.
I think quite a lot of the ancient civilizations used to use things to dye their beards as well. So try and dye them red or brown and things like that. And I know in ancient Egypt, they used to wear like a metal beard, the kings and queens then. So
I've seen pictures of that. So why would they do that then? What, in case they couldn't grow a beard, they just put on a fake one?
Yeah, they just put on a metal one and strap it around the head and away they go. I'm not really sure of the reason. I'm just aware of it.
Yeah, well, that opens up a new interesting line for the Brighton Beard Company. If you can't grow your beard, buy one of our
I'll get in touch with a blacksmith. Yeah.
And it's and there's actually a World Beard Day now as well, which I've never actually celebrated. I didn't even know about it.
Oh no. Yeah, no, it's a big thing for us, World Beard Day.
Really? Yeah.
We've been celebrating it for probably the last 5 years. I think the first year we started, we didn't really understand what World Beard Day was. It's just a celebration of bearded men, really. So you shouldn't have to do any chores or jobs or anything on World Beard Day if you're a man with a beard.
That's wow. Yeah. I hope you've got that on your website somewhere. I hope you've got. That's interesting. Yeah, you should make a little template which we can print out and give to our better halves. What is it? The 1st September, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the first Saturday in September, I think.
All right. Okay, so it's just around the corner. So no working on that day.
Yeah, we normally do something a little bit special on World Beard Day as well. So we send an email with something special in it.
Oh, wicked! Yeah, that's amazing. Is it a UK thing or is it national? International?
No, international.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
So World Beard Day. So they do sort of bearded games as well. So you can get all your bearded friends and make a bearded pyramid, just random stuff.
Of course you do. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. What else would you do on World Beard Day?
Oh wow! Of course, yeah. I can't believe I just asked the question: is World Beard Day just the UK, or is it
I didn't want to
international?
bring that up, but
I might edit that bit out. We'll see
yeah.
how that goes. Yeah, cut. Yeah. So yeah, World Beard Day is obviously an international festival around the world. That's fantastic.
Yeah, celebrated every country.
So yeah, you've got a newsletter. Obviously, I've signed up for that. People who do sign up for that, like I say, the blog. Is it you who writes the blog, or is it a mixture of you? Or
It's a mixture of all of us. Yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
some great.
we try and get different stuff in there. So there'll be some educational stuff in there. There'll be some stuff that's just for fun, and then events and things like that as well. So,
Yeah. Have you got? Do you know offhand what the kind of most read blogs are? What the biggest demand is?
our most read blog is actually beard balm versus beard oil.
Really, yeah, I can appreciate that. It's one of these. It's like when I first had a long beard, then obviously I had the obligatory kind of like hard parting and kind of the whole long hair thing, and then you had the pomade against a gel or oil based against. I think they go quite hand in hand. Did you ever go through that phase of kind of pomades and oils and that?
No. I was always a Matt Clay guy.
Well, you're Matt Clay guy.
Still am.
Oh, brilliant. No, I definitely went through that, and it was very similar to the whole kind of oil. When you get into oil-based or water-based, and you can spend a fortune online.
Oh yeah.
But such powerful branding with the companies out there. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, a lot of it is just the branding, isn't it? That's
yeah. I wonder whether these days guys are still kind of reluctant to talk about products they use. I wonder whether something like a beard opens it up and allows you to kind of talk about the fact, yes, I do buy things to kind of like groom myself. Do you think it's still a bit of a stigma attached to it, or?
I think things have changed in the last 10 years massively. I don't think there's so much of a stigma. Even my dad now, who's nearly 60, the products he uses, you wouldn't believe. And he's not scared to tell people about it. He loves it. So I think, it's just more acceptable now.
I wonder how much of that is a Brighton thing, though, because it is a bit different down here, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah. To be honest, I don't know. If you used to go up north, would it be the same?
Well, my wife is from Wigan, and her dad makes it quite clear. Although he's a liar. He's a liar because he's got a little goatee, and I've seen he's got products. He's got little clippers and stuff.
He just doesn't tell people about them.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it's just, there's kind of like, oh, you don't talk about that. No.
Yeah.
But down here in Brighton, it's we celebrate all sorts of inclusion and diversity, and also
I think most bearded men really like talking about that sort of thing. It's almost like a pop culture stuff.
I think it's probably quite healthy. I mean, we live in an era where we're trying to convince men to talk about feelings and emotions and the whole mental awareness, and we look at suicide rates and things, and it's a big thing that's going on. So I think that's probably one of the stepping stones. If you can feel confident about just talking about the fact that you do like to kind of look good and feel good, then that kind of opens up the dialogue, doesn't it? It's an important one.
Yeah. And talking about all that sort of thing is so important now as well. Like you say, that's only just recently become acceptable, talking about your feelings.
Yeah. No, it's very true. It's very true. Okay, so I recommend people, if they're looking to learn about beers, sign up to your newsletter. I think when you sign up to your newsletter, then you start getting offers and stuff anyway, don't you, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, you should get a few things through. So I think there's like a 10% discount on your first order if you sign up to the newsletter. So it's good to take advantage of that one. And then you'll just receive information on when new products are released, and any other deals that might be going on at the time. So
so you're a very friendly company. I'm biased because I love your products, but anybody who's not quite sure or they're worried about spam mail, signing up to Buy and Beer Company is a pretty cool experience. You feel like you're part of a nice club. You get to read blogs and products and stuff like that. What's future for Buy and Beer Company then? You've already kind of repackaged and done lots of exciting things in January, but have you got anything else on the horizon?
We are just trying to grow sort of our audience, really. Just getting more customers around the country. We want to be in a few more barbershops. We're stocked in a lot of like independent small gift stores and stuff like that. We do quite well all across Europe. So Poland love our products. We sell a lot there. I'd like to break into Russia and a few other places. So there's a lot for us to work on. There's also just new products we want to release. I won't go into too much, but leave
that hook there.
So that's what we want to start doing. Really.
What about the future beers? Do you think? I mean, they've hung around for quite a strangely long time now. A lot of people thought it would be a fad that comes and goes. We're talking about quite a few years.
Yeah, when we first started the business, people told us, "Oh, it's not going to last," and then it was around for a year, and people were still saying it. People still say it to me now.
Yeah.
But I really think that, like, when beards became popular this time round, and there was this resurgence of products for beards and stuff, it became not a trend. Because there's always been men that have had beards, even when it wasn't trendy. But now it's okay for those men to use products. So even if the trend goes away slightly and not as many men have beards, there's always going to be a need for these products. So I think, yeah, it's like someone suddenly saying that people don't use pomades and stuff anymore. So.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting one. I think you've nailed it on the head. It's come along at a time where guys are not so embarrassed to actually admit that they like testing new stuff and buying new smells, and it's kind of like nothing wrong with it. So if you want to enjoy that, then yeah, you've either got to kind of like get into a particular haircut or something, or get into a beard style, or so yeah. And long may they stick around. I say. I think mine, because you've got 2.5-year-old, a baby as well, haven't you?
Yeah, 2.5-year-old and 8-month-old.
So you had the beard before they came along.
Oh yeah.
Because mine was pretty much tied in with when my youngest, who's 4, just over 4 now. I don't know whether it was because I'd left a stubble. I was a young dad, not sleeping, and well, not young, but I was a dad, recent dad, not sleeping, and grew a little bit of a beard, and he just started pulling it and laughing and smiling and looking at me. And I think I've talked to a few other dads. It's like just that connection of them pulling it. But I think it might be a dad thing. I wonder whether, because when you become a father, things change, and you kind of accept that role of, I'm kind of like the man, I'm the father for this kid. And I wonder whether psychologically the beard thing kind of stuck in there as well.
Yeah, potentially. It's definitely a good way for the baby to distinguish between mum and dad.
Yeah, depending on who you're married to, but yeah, in most cases.
Yeah, in most cases.
It's I think so. And there's some classic YouTube videos of dads who have decided to shave off their beards and then try picking up their babies, and babies just freaking out.
Oh, my kids do that anyway. So.
Right. So obviously I've heard as well on the grapevine, this is RunChatLive. So interestingly enough, you enjoy a bit of running yourself. I mean, you've done the odd 10K and Tough Mudder.
Yeah, I have done in the past. Yeah, I've done a few different bits and pieces. Nothing too serious, but I do enjoy it. I'm just not very good at sticking to the training schedules. That's the thing that catches me out. So you do all this training for like a little 10K or something, and then as soon as the 10K is done, I'm done. So training stops, and I just go back to normal.
If you're a busy man, I suppose life always gets in the way. I mean, especially for people trying to train for a marathon or something where you've got to commit to like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
But what is it about running that you enjoy? Is it just getting out of the house, or what do you?
Yeah, it's the fact that when you're running, you don't often think about much else, or I don't anyway. Maybe it's just because I'm so unfit. But I'll be running along, and I won't think about the issues or problems with anything else, or what needs to be done with the business. I'm literally just running, and that's it. So I quite like to, if I do run, just run without music, just run out in nature's brilliant. So
that's, are you a fan of the sea or the kind of off-road downs, or what's?
I like the downs. I like running off-road. Although where I am, because we're obviously on the south coast, I've got the sea on one side of my house and the downs on the other, so I can just pick and choose, which is really nice.
Yeah, we are definitely gifted in Brighton, this part of the world. It is marvelous. Fine. And so are we gonna, I mean, have you got any desires to get back into another 10K? Or sometimes it's good to have a goal to get you out
I'd really love to. What sorry, someone's coming in.
That's okay. Business is starting. Business is back again.
Where do we get to?
So have you ever thought about putting yourself in for another 10K or something? Or like I know there's a 10 mile, there's the Bright 10 mile in Brighton along the seafront. That's a nice 10-mile stretch if you wanted to go a bit further.
Yeah, what I'd really like to do, last year I done the Alfriston Park Run.
Right.
Which I think it was 10K. If not, it felt like it. But that was quite hilly. So if I was to do another one, I'd like to do something sort of flat-ish to ease into it. But yeah, it was what was it called? I watched a documentary on Netflix,
Yeah.
the Berkeley Mile or the Berkeley something.
Is this the massive hill one in New Zealand or something? Or
it's like an ultra running event by some crazy guy that lives in the woods.
Okay.
But he runs that, and that sort of inspired me to start running. I didn't realize how hard running was until then. So it was a bit of an odd one, but obviously you have all these grand notions of going, oh, I've watched this documentary, I can be an ultra runner now. And you get out and you do like 2 miles, you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't run 2 miles, let alone 50.
It's good though to get you inspiration from different places though. Sometimes it can go over the top, like the whole Born to Run thing and the barefoot craze. I mean, if it gets people out the doors and interested in what should I put on my feet, can I experiment with this, then it's all cool. It's just when it starts, being suggested that it's science when it's not really. It's just kind of ideas and stuff.
Yeah, I think I got pulled into the whole barefoot. I really like the idea of that. But
yeah,
with enough information, you can make anything sound good. That's
exactly. But hopefully we're going to have you along at the running conference in October if you're free on those days. I know with your 2 little ones it might be a bit of a problem, but if you're free, then there'll be definitely plenty of running inspiration along there and some evidence-based stuff for you to listen to.
Yeah, it'd be really great that might be a little bit of a jump start to get back into it. So
exactly, and it's going to be October before we know it. Fantastic. Well, look, it's been a pleasure listening to you and sharing the history of the business and some top tips. I hope people who've watched it have got some insight and that they'll be kind of inspired to go along to your website. Anything else happening or anything else you kind of want to plug or talk about or mention that you know of?
What have we got going on? I don't think so. I think we've had a nice chat. I don't think there's a lot else to tell people, in all honesty.
Actually, there is. I just remember myself actually talking. There is you were kind enough to give us a RCL 15 promo code. So if you are watching this, that's it. That's the main thing at the moment. So if you are watching this, either as the podcast or as the video, then I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but there is an RCL 15 promo code going on over at www.thebrightonbeercompany.co.uk. An awful long name. At the time, were you thinking? I mean, it's tricky.
Trying to come up with a name for a company is so hard. So we were nearly Reggie's Beard Care for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, really? Just a Brighton thing? Yeah. Give it a weird name like Dave or something for TV channel. Yeah. Well, look. Thanks, mate. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you're very busy, and hopefully we will catch up again soon, maybe in a few months, to see what's changed, what's going on, and if not, we'll see you at the conference.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. My pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to move you just back to the lobby again and then sign off here. And then I'll come down and say goodbye to you officially. Okay, mate? So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Thank you, Lloyd. There we go. What a lovely gentleman. There's a lot in there, which is you've got to have a beard to appreciate it. If you haven't, then I'm almost cringing at people watching this who just won't understand any of it. Also, there's a bit of a Brighton thing going on there as well. So hopefully if you're from Brighton, then there'll be a few, some of the things we talked about will hit home there as well. So thank you very much. This has just been an exclusive special on our sponsors, the Brighton Beer Company.co.uk. As always, leave some comments. Lloyd and the team are fantastically approachable, and you can always contact them via the website. They do have an active presence as well on Twitter. I see them on Facebook. Obviously, there's the pages. Or you can contact them via us in the comments after this video on the podcast. Thank you much for joining us. If you enjoyed it, then we can do some more. I know I'm going to get some products to test, and I'll mention them at the beginning of the regular podcast on Sundays. I'm looking forward, actually, because I've been the same kind of smell for the last 4 years, so it'll be quite excited to try something new. And this Sunday coming up, we have got Jeff Gaudette of Runners Connect, who's going to be looking at techniques to achieving your 5k PB. So that's something which Lloyd might want to watch as well. Those of you who are plateauing your park run, you're not getting that PB, Jeff is a hugely inspiring coach from Boston, from Runners Connect outfit. He's going to be providing some bombshells on what some of us are doing wrong to get that 5k PB in terms of training, sleep, nutrition, and all the other factors which will make up the difference. So do join us Sunday. The time, I think it's 3:30, but don't quote me on that. Have a look at our website, RunChatLive.com. That's it, I think. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you this Sunday, hopefully. Goodbye.
You're listening to RunChatLive podcast, putting the evidence back into running injury and performance.